Clank in space. So
No. Clank in space!
I don't know. All right.
She
But
doesn't know the Muppets.
Nope.
sorry.
I don't think you are. I think I blame you because you could educate her.
Now listen. I know about the Muppet Babies.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my Lord.
So don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the notification bell. Comment down below about what other things I don't know about. I'm sure they'll have a list.
Fraggle Rock, Muppets.
Show.
Yeah.
It's called Age. All right. So, but before we get into it, Rob, tell us more about this game.
So Clank in Space came out in 2017. It plays 2 to 4 people. Might be expandable with some of the expansions. I'm not for sure though. Board Game Geek rating of 7.9. Pretty good score there. Designed by Paul Denon. The art is by Ralph Beisner, Raul Ramos. I apologize for this next one. Rastislav Lee, Nate Storm, and Franz Vowinkle. MSRP is a little pricey. It's $60. But I went to Card House and a couple other websites. It's generally $45.
Okay.
So
not bad. All right. So let's talk about quality of pieces. So you've got your standard wooden cubes for your different player colors. You have a
different shaped meeples based off of player color.
Yeah, so they're kind of interesting looking. Definitely all like, oh, I have Yoda. This is Darth Vader. I didn't realize they were all kind of themed that way. And then you have the evil guy, I guess. It looks like an evil super villain.
Kind of looks like an anime type of look to it. Like a Dragon
I know,
Ball
I see
Z.
a superhero because of the chin.
I see like a Dragon Ball Z, with the massive hair.
But, so you got a lot of wooden bits. You have a puzzle piece board. It's actually laying pretty well, but it is starting to curl already.
Well, ours was damaged. It had a piece of it that was nicked when we got it out of the box, which is kind of
so it just came, so it came out that way.
Card quality is glossy, smooth, but pretty good thickness.
Yeah, it's decent, but it does no texture whatsoever.
Yeah. Oh, the really cool crystals. That's the
power
crystals. And you have the cubes that are also see-through. 2 of those per player.
I will say I think the power crystals are actually the best thing in here, which is not saying much. So for this game, I'd probably give this maybe a 6.
Yeah. Maybe 6.5.
I'm probably, with the meeples being custom shaped and everything, and the board is a pretty decent stock. It's not. It's unfortunate we got a nicked one, but it's fit together very tight, which was good. It wasn't loose at all, but it might be bad when we tried to take it apart. Could end up with more nicks, but it was good while we played. It didn't. There wasn't any kind of shifting.
So what score?
I'm probably more of a 7.
I think I could be a 7 too, because I do like the individual. I mean, the individually shaped meeples is really cool, and the card quality is good. So I like that.
Okay, cool. Now, talking about theme. Theme was interesting. There are so many references throughout this entire game that you guys really got into.
Yeah, I love it. There's flavor text on it. There's references to almost every sci-fi thing. The only thing I didn't see was Firefly. I was looking for Firefly, I never saw it, but this doesn't mean I didn't. It's not in there.
And there's a bunch of cards we didn't see.
I mean, there's references to Tron. There's references to E.T. There was a very obscure one to Ice Pirates, which I really appreciated.
We saw Hitchhiker's Guide.
There was obviously Star Trek. There was Star Wars. I mean, you name it.
You got the Badly Go being the red shirt. So.
Yeah, Boldly Go, not Badly Go. You have Transformers, the phaser. It was, you name it, from pop culture, it's in there. Matrix was in there.
Yep.
So the really references were pretty cool, and I think for theme, that's kind of what this is. Yeah, it's a sci-fi theme, but I think it's more an homage to sci-fi. So with that, I think that's actually pretty cool. So I'm going to give this a 7.5. What do you guys think?
I enjoyed it a little bit more than that. I'm more like an 8.5. I mean, I thought it was a lot of fun.
I mean, thematically, I'm thinking more of a 9.
You're not going to twist my arm to even
get a 9. Fifth Element, we left that one off. There was a lot of Fifth Element in there. That was really cool. I think it's a 9 just from the
the flavor text is funny. There's some flavor text that is quite good. So I think it'd go 9. It's pretty cool.
It must be because I'm not as
Well,
familiar
you're
with
definitely
pop
not.
culture.
You need to start getting ramped up on all these different references because you missed the Muppets and Fraggle Rock and all these sci-fi references.
No, I got a lot of them. I
Okay.
understand about the answer to life, and I understand. I got some of them. I don't get as much enjoyment out as you guys, but I could definitely see you guys like it. So your guys' score, I'm like, that's true for you. For me, everything was okay. It was slightly layered on. So moving on to rules, how did that go?
The rulebook was actually pretty fun. It also had some flavor text in it and some references. There was some humor in there about, especially like when you're stealing the ship from the ship. You're trying to steal the artifacts.
Yeah.
And that's the whole idea of this thing. We're breaking into the ship and trying to steal something, which I think Clank is probably more of a same thing.
But you're going down in a dungeon and stealing from a dragon.
Which I haven't played Clank yet. This was my first foray into any of the Clank games. So started out with the space one, which I probably appreciate this theme more than the dungeon one. But as far as the rules go, it's 12 pages long. There's examples where you need them. There's not examples where you don't. It's not overloaded. I think the only thing that was missing that we found was there was the icons for
there was some missing icons.
There was no reference for that. They had all the other token references on the back. They should have.
I think it was the Clank symbol, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the ones that you had Clank, but I mean all the other ones are missing too. It's just those are obvious. But they had an empty space on the back. There's absolutely no reason they couldn't have put that right there. So given that, I would probably have given this an 8. Otherwise, I'm probably going to give it a 7 because that's a pretty big miss because we had to look it up online to continue playing just to be sure. Because it could have been, if it just shows an explosion symbol, it could have been a hit.
Or it could have been take away Clank versus add Clank. You didn't know. So
because most of them are bonuses. So
it specifically said bonuses or penalties in the book. So I assumed those were the penalties. So it would either be a wound or a Clank. But it didn't really specify until you went online and found it.
Yeah. So I agree with you because I wasn't even here when you explained the rules. I just started moving my piece. And so going into gameplay, I kind of regret not paying attention at the very beginning because I was just like, okay, I'm playing cards.
Oh, it's a straight up deck builder.
Well, the thing is I actually really enjoyed it. Like midway through, I was like, man, crap, I should have paid attention more to the beginning. Because I was starting to get into like how much strategy there is, and I really did like this. So let's talk about. So it is a straight up deck builder. So basically, there are 3 icons in this corner up here that you can possibly get. So you have the movement icon, the attack icon, and essentially the currency icon, the money icon, if you will. The money allows you to buy cards in where you get your cards from, the market, and then the attack if there's monsters in that same row, or there's always one monster available to attack, the goblin, and then the movement, so that allows you to move across your board.
So apart from movement, it's pretty much Ascension as far as the card you pick up. It's you have 2 different currencies, moving or the buying and the attacking that you can use.
You're only really attacking the monsters in the row, but you can use it to avoid damage on the board as well.
Yeah. So, so as you get your deck building, you play the cards, you get 5 in your hand and you play them. But it was an interesting component having a map component to a deck builder. And I actually really was getting into that. And there's obstacles in the way. Like there are locks that you have to have a special key to that you can get throughout the game. Or there's monsters in your way that you have to have the attack to be able to go through. Or it takes more movement. So it really did feel like you're going on a spaceship or you're going through and trying to accomplish these different things through your card set. You also can pick up different loot on the way, or essentially these tokens that have different positive things that they can give you, or negative, because like this one advanced him, but it was worth 3 victory points for me. So bad, good, mixed bag there. But so what you're trying to do as you try to travel through the board, you have to get 2 access points. And then once you get the access points, you can come to the far side of this area, the board. And when you have access to that, there are several tokens that give you a range from 5 to 30 victory points. You can only pick up one
Called an artifact.
card and artifact before you can get back to basically the exit pod or the escape pod.
With the goal of not dying or passing out. So.
Yeah. And you can only get one of the artifacts. So you have to choose, am I going to go for the 30? Am I going to go for the 10 or the 15 to try to get back faster?
Yeah, because the cheaper ones are closer to your start point. The more expensive ones are further out.
And it's not just a few spaces. There are spaces that force you to stop at that location. They're called security points. And so therefore, at the very least, it's going to cost. Yeah, it slows you down.
And in your deck, you have cards that generate clank, which are noise, and you put cubes into a pool. Anytime you flip a new card up into the draw deck or the acquisition deck that you can
show you an icon,
you then could trigger an attack from the main boss, which at that point you put all of the cubes that have accumulated from noise into this bag, which is also embroidered. It's another reason I gave it 7.
It's this
really
little red monster icon on the card.
So you put it into the bag, you draw out the number of cubes based on his rage level, because he starts out, depends on what your player count is, but I guess he starts at 2, unless you're 2 players.
Basically, it gets madder the longer we're there.
So when he discovers, when you discover things in the ship that are significant, he moves up the rage meter, and he'll draw more cubes. But if he draws black, nothing happens. But if he draws a player cube, it gets placed in your health meter, and if your health meter fills up, you die, and you're eliminated from the game at that point. This is one of the few player elimination games I actually enjoy. I don't like player elimination as an aspect of a game.
Right, but most of it wasn't because we were doing it to each other.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of softens it a little bit.
Well, it does, but also it's very unlikely, I think, that you're going to die before close to the end of the game. I mean, no, you died right at the very end of the game.
Yeah, but I mean, that to me that doesn't mean a whole lot, because there's a big bonus point advantage if you make it off the ship. If you don't make it off the ship, you lose the opportunity to score 20 additional points. Well, that's a big point.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying, you get to play through the whole game. It's one thing if you get eliminated in round 2 and you have to sit there for an hour while the others play.
Well,
I agree with that.
There's also some luck-based component. What are you going to draw out the bag? How much clank are you putting into the system? So if you really wanted to die, you could probably manage it, but why?
And there are cards that help eliminate clank before it goes into the bag, and there's healing. Yeah. There's a lot of ways to stay in this game. So I don't mind the player elimination in this, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. And there's ways to heal on the board too. So I think it has a nice balance of mitigating that, but it's got that whole threat level that makes it feel like you're under pressure to get in, get your artifact, and get off as quickly as possible, and still accumulate as many points as you can along the way. And so there's a lot of ways to score, and I appreciate that. The cards have points. The icons you can pick up to have points.
Your money can give you points at the end of the game.
Yeah, your credits can give you points. So yeah, I like the fact that there's a lot of ways to score, and you got off the ship first, but I managed to win because I accumulated more of those credits along the way. So yeah, I think it's got a nice balance to it. It's not necessarily who gets off first that's going to automatically win.
Yeah, absolutely. So give it a score, guys.
What do you think?
I'm probably about a 9 on this. I think, as far as I love the mechanics of it. I mean, it takes deck builders to me have become kind of old. There's, they took the basic standard Ascension deck builder mechanic, but they made it fresh with all of the interaction with the board. Now, if I played Clank before this, it may have impacted my score because I've never played Clank. But this is probably going to feel a lot like Clank, but it is a better theme for what I prefer.
Where I would probably prefer the other theme, but we'll see.
But we tooted about like Lost Ruins of Arnak. How unique that was. So this came out way before that. And so I think it's kind of cool that some of the more modern games are going back to trying to make a hybrid of deck building with other elements.
Well,
because again, deck building in of itself, I agree, it's gotten to be kind of boring.
Yeah.
But if it's a core element to a cool mechanic of the game, and on top of other things, it's a lot of fun.
I think that's kind of the life cycle of a mechanic we've seen. Seven Wonders introduced drafting as a big mechanic, and then it became kind of stale. And now you see games incorporating drafting as part of the game, and it makes a nice, component of a game. But I don't think you can make a solid just drafting game anymore. It's similar here. I think deck building, it took the deck building aspect and integrated it into a game
really well
to make it fresh, you know.
Yeah, it's almost like a lot of games now, they're piecemealing.
Yeah.
But it makes it better, and some they fail at, but some they do really good. And I think this was a very good integration of it. So, what did you end up scoring it?
I think I'm going to give it an 8. I think it's a solid game.
What do you think?
I said 9.
Yeah.
9. I actually really enjoyed this. I mean, the fact that there was a moment of this is fun, you know. So I'm gonna go in the middle of you guys at 8.5 because, like I said, I was surprisingly like, man, I should have paid attention earlier. This is actually a really good game.
Oh yeah, it's really good.
So.
I mean, I can't wait until we review like Tyrants of the Underdark because I think it does an even better job of hybridizing the deck building mechanic into something. So
I don't think she'll like it as well.
You don't think so?
It's area control.
That's true, but it's so good.
Don't like area control.
But I really did like that. I mean, I know I scored a little bit less, but it's a solid game. This is a lot of fun, and I think everyone would like it if they give it a chance.
So, all right, guys. Well, we had a blast today, and hopefully you guys did too. Hopefully we'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Bye.